Having YouTube, so I hope everyone is well. I'm full of thanks to the eye who's tuned into this channel, and I'm full of thanks for all of the subscribers who, just support this channel, because I don't really share, I don't have like popular opinions, and that's a part of what I want to share in this video right now, because as it pertains to Africa and my videos about Africa, I receive a lot of comments, a lot of complaints, a lot of even offensive comments, and I think it's just from people mainly. Some of them may be robots, but some of them are just from people who just don't understand what I'm saying. Because a lot of the comments are, I'm being divisive, or I'm not speaking to the goodness of, the goodness of those opportunities in Africa, like how we can come together and how we can better help the progression and the development of Africa and African people, right? People say I have self-hate, and I hate myself, I hate Africa, I hate just a lot of different things. And I think a lot of people mainly forget that, like I said in my last video, we are in a time of purification. It's purification time. So I think also a lot of people are still under the impression or this spell that Africa needs to develop. Africa needs to progress in other ways, as far as like infrastructure and economic growth, economic development. And I'm just coming to share that that is not the reality. During this time of purification, Black people from the West don't need to come to help with development. That's not going to save Africa. What's going to save Africa is Black people from the diaspora, even those on the Godtinent, those who never left the Godtinent, who have some sort of spiritual intelligence, even beyond what we think we have known so far, as far as even our African traditional spiritual systems, because there's a lot of things that we have done on the Godtinent that is just symbolic of us, just African people, indigenous people, turning our backs to the Most High. Just turning our backs to the Most High and putting other lesser gods before the one true God. I know these words are even triggering, because a lot of people do have some kind of like religious trauma. Even when you think of like our traditional African spirituality, a lot of these practices actually have like a supreme being. So it's not that foreign, but I think just it's just religious trauma. And also not wanting to be powerless in a way, not wanting that thing that everyone says happened to Black people in the West. We're having these practices and cultures and cultural practices, cultural traditions stripped away. But the thing is that, that happening, it really happened for a reason, because if you look at white people, people say the white man is the devil, white people are evil, and all of these things that came to kill, steal, and destroy. I'm not going to deny that, these different groups of people have embodied this evil spirit, this backwards, divisive spirit. But at the same time, those groups of people were just tools of nature. They're just tools of nature, because they aren't the cause of anything. They're more of like an effect of African people turning their back from the Most High and inviting room already for other spirits to come and take root. So that same spirit that you see white people having, or embodying throughout history or whatever, being colonizers and things of that nature, that same spirit that wants to dominate and have ownership over, that wants to kill, that just wants to prove its dominance and take over, that same spirit was present and embodied by African people before the white man ever came and touched foot. And I think that that's something that a lot of people forget. So it's not just about, the focus is not Africa needs to develop and progress and become, Africa's going to be on top again. Those things is not going to save Africa. Saving Africa is more spiritual. It's of the spirit. It's not of those mundane, worldly things. It's not. And economic growth, what is that going to do for saving African people? It's not going to do anything, because you can do all of these things, build up the continent, build it up. It's already, you have places on the continent that's already like it's super, what's the word? It supersedes, it exceeds, it has far surpassed any development infrastructure that you have seen or that I have seen in the Western world, in America, the Caribbean. Like, I've seen places in Africa that will blow your mind, because they don't even have things up to date like that in America. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not impressed by that. Like, I'm literally, like, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Because you have people selling their souls to be a part of that. People are selling out, just like the people in the Western, like in the music industry, Hollywood, people are selling themselves out. Prostitution is rampant throughout Africa. It's rampant. Prostitution, not just on the street. Women are prostituting themselves to get married, prostituting themselves in their marriage. Prostitution is a real thing. There's so many different things that are taking place on the continent that's like, it's different. So black people from the West don't need to get so caught up in trying to save Africa, saving Africa from poverty, saving Africa from whatever you think Africa needs saving from. Africa needs to be redeemed spiritually. This land is purifying itself, whether we are a part of it or not. This land is purifying itself, whether we are a part of it or not. And I feel like that is something that is always skipped over. That spirit of destruction, divisiveness, manipulation, that's not just in the West. That's not just in white people. That's been in African people, indigenous people before the white man ever did any of that. How was he even able to do that without the compliance of other African people? How was the white man ever able to do anything like that? Yes, you can say, oh, he forced it. He did this, he did that. He manipulated us. Some people were manipulated, but some people were just willingly desperate for power, desperate for control, desperate for symbols of control and power and dominance. Just like I said, turning their back on the Most High just to say, no, I'm powerful in my own right. Like, I'm a king, I'm a chief, I'm this, I'm that, I'm queen, I'm an empress, I'm a goddess, I'm a ruler of whatever the case. We had empires and all these different things. That doesn't make Africa great. It never made Africa great. If anything, it was a symbol of those, like I said, that desperation for power and control and for dominance, pride, arrogance. People became violent. People became just war-struck, slavery amongst other Africans, prisoners of war, all of that stuff. And people comment on my videos and say, oh, you think good things always happened and this stuff was happening in Africa before. That doesn't mean, I am not saying that good things or bad things never happen. I'm literally saying those things that happen is a part of the problem. Those things that happen those things are the problem. Like the spirits that we embodied that allowed us or caused us to do those things, that's the problem. That's why we're in a state of purification. And so black people from the West, people on the ground, people that never left Africa, have to have some sort of spiritual intelligence, spiritual awareness beyond the limits of what we think are our cultures, beyond the limits of what we think our traditions are, things that we have to keep going and passing to our children. We don't need to pass a lot of these things down, because a lot of these things are a part of the problem. So coming to Africa, Ayaba. So coming to Africa, we need to be more aware of this, what I'm saying right now. We need to be more adept to this. This is what's really going on in life, you know. And this is what we need to keep. We need to keep this in mind, because if not, like I said in my last video, we're going to keep falling into those same traps. And I'm just sharing these videos for those who still have a chance of being saved, those who still have a chance of redemption themselves, and those who have, you know, the willingness and some type of like God ordained authority and strength to push forward, and also like share that and spread that with the Godtinent. Those who left, part of the diaspora, and those who never left. You know, that's what it's about. We're in a time of purification. I shared in a comment that it's going to take a lot more than development and economic growth for Africa to heal. Like, there's a lot more than that that's going to take place. So it might sound like doomsday or apocalyptic to hear that a lot of places are going to be underwater. You know, Africa is splitting, all volcanoes, earthquake, all of these things are going to happen. It's going to take place. Things is happening right now, but more is going to happen. Like, it's not by mistake. It's not by chance. It's purification time. And anyone who houses, or just anyone who has become like a home of different entities, different spirits, different, just that evil spirit, divisive, and even that of the world wanting to come, just being blind even, it's over. Like, it's over. It's over. So I really wanted to share that, because I'm never trying to come on here and be like y'all say, like causing division and stuff like that. I'm not even saying this right now to explain myself. I'm just sharing this right now to give more insight to those who watch me, who have some sort of an inkling that no, I feel that, I know that, and I feel that, like, this is the time now. That's the time that we're in. So I'm never doing things for clout. I'm not trying to come on here and argue with people and all of these extra things. It's not about that. It's not about creating division amongst, somebody said I was being divisive. I can't come into a home and divide what's already divided amongst itself. A house divided amongst itself cannot stand, and that is what has happened all throughout history, all throughout, you know, just the span of time that humanity has been here. So to sum this up, Africa does not need saving on a financial level, on a developmental level, as far as infrastructure, modernization, and things of that nature. Africa needs redemption. Africa is being redeemed. The land itself is being purified, whether we are a part of it or not. We can either get in line and just get back in touch with order, get back in order, or we can just get wiped away. That's what I want to share in this video, and I really hope that, you know, it really touches who it needs to touch. I really hope that it touches who it needs to touch. We need to be purified. That's self. It's time for salvation. Like, we have like major strongholds throughout, you know, African people. indigenous people, people of the diaspora. Like, there's so many strongholds, so many. And like I said, it's purification time, and that's the whole point of these different videos that I share. That's the whole point of just life in general on earth right now. And something else to really keep in mind is, Africa has debt to pay. Like, Africa has debt to pay, spiritual debt to pay. And a lot of it is already being paid to this day in blood. There's a lot of bloodshed that's already happening. And it may look like, oh, it's just a remnant from what was happening before. It looks like it's just a remnant from, it's always been happening. But there's something different now. Clearly, there's something different these days. And we can't be blind to that. There's something different. The spirit is different. There's a lot more bloodshed that's going to happen. There's a lot more things that, we have to be prepared for and get out of the way. We have to get out of the way. And if you're so focused on making your money, making Africa more money, making sure that Africa develops well, and improving the infrastructure and all of these things, then you're going to get kind of lost in the sauce. So again, if you're coming from the Western world, you're coming to Africa, the best thing that you can do to help Africa progress, to be a part of this recalibration, if you will, so first of all, get yourself right, focus on yourself, focus on your spirit, keeping it in, staying in touch with the highest I, the most I, and having that sight, that vision of reality. Seeing beyond the facades, the falsehood, the illusions, the spells, the development, all of those things. Seeing beyond those things and just come with that higher spirit, because that's what Africa needs. That's what's making its way here anyway. That's what's already here, whether we like it or not, whether we're a part of it or not. So yes, Africa's redemption is spiritual. It's a spiritual thing. So until next time, bye bye, guide.